Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Travel Tech Podcast. I'm Alex Brooker, and this week's guest was Nancy Lee Smith, the CEO and founder of Boop, a social distribution travel platform. And we talk about creating itineraries from your camera roll, sharing them, other people taking them, and then maybe you're getting a bit of passive income as part of that. So a fascinating new business model. This podcast is brought to you by Airside Labs. That's airsidelabs.com. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And please keep your comments and feedback coming in. I love receiving feedback from our listeners and viewers. Let's get into it. So, Nancy Lee Smith, welcome to the Travel Tech Podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It's great to meet you. I'd love to just hear sort of you explain in your own words. So how did you end up in the travel industry?
Gosh. So my background, I worked in consumer AI products in Meta, Microsoft, and actually early days involved in like augmented reality, virtual reality. I led the build up of the AI platform behind the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. Awesome. From all that background. And I was a CPO for an AI company that deploys like AI technology into physical world operations. The through line, you're like, probably I'm like the least likely person to work on travel. But the through line is like, I've always built AI technology that have real world understanding. It's always about the real world context and the people moving in there. And personally, I lived in 4 different countries. I grew up in Beijing, lived in Germany and Munich and in Vancouver, Canada, and been in Seattle for the last decade and a half and traveled extensively. And I like to say I'm a accidentally viral travel influencer. But I have a
that's cool.
45,000 follower Instagram account, which is from organically sharing my travels and experiences over the years.
Okay.
So with all of that, I've always been really interested in human experiences. And a year and a half ago, we went on a honeymoon in Venice as part of the trip. And I had this moment of frustration on the trip that led me to gosh, this travel is still so hard. There's no way for me to like easily share. And the biggest insight is like all my best trips are the ones that are from one single source, which is there's a very well-traveled friend who have been there or lived there forever. And so with that spark, that's kind of when I was like, gosh, like there's something here that can help people easily be able to, people to share trips, enable friends to be able to easily copy it and book from it, and leverage all the AI background that we have and the technology that's available today to help people easily remix a trip from your real friends' experiences, like how you would remix a Spotify playlist. And that's how we started Boop, and realized how big the travel industry is and how much dollars involved in there. And part of the mission is how do we go shift the $355 billion in annual travel commissions every year in a $10 trillion travel category and shift those dollars to the everyday people who are driving more than half of the decisions in travel, just among friends, and make everyone kind of earn dollars for the next adventure.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that. That taking photos from the camera roll and trying to using AI to figure out where they've been. How does it work? What does AI do in that use case?
Yeah. So like think about it this way, right? Like my 3 days in Venice, I have 1,600 photos from that trip.
Okay.
And that's a lot of people, especially a lot of women. And what we have built is and I can show you quickly. I don't know if you can show.
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah, go for it.
So we built AI product where if you give us camera, the background is also like I always build kind of privacy forward on device AI. So like this, all your camera pictures and everything still stays on your phone. We're not touching any of that, but we're tapping into the metadata behind it to like discover, like now it's like every single year, the trips that I have taken are automatically like discovered through here. And you can just click like one button. This is actually my UK trip since you're in London.
Okay, yeah.
And click multiple of them and you just click import. And in seconds, now this turns into a bookable itinerary that you can one click share with your friends with your photos and videos automatically selected that you can edit and review, add your own personal notes, and then share with friends.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And when so let's talk about that use case. It's social distribution,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you have that friend who does all of that planning, who always picks the best trips and has the best design. Oh wow, I can see them.
Yes,
yeah.
This is done, right? This is done, and every stop of restaurants, every hotel, every place you visited. Oh, and by the way, like these and pictures. These are my pictures automatically selected and deduplicated. And every single place here is also actionable. Like the hotel here, you can just directly click and it's like Shop My, like social commerce. If you're familiar with Shop My or LTK for fashion, like, oh, you like my outfit? Like, here's my link and go like buy my dress and I'll earn like a commission dollars. In a similar way, we make everything bookable and we're connected to all the experience marketplaces like Viator, Get Your Guys, StubHub, Tickets, where if there are tours and tickets available in this case, we were in Oxford. And these are highly relevant tours personalized to me based on my travel DNA that our agent learned about you and your past trips over time. And it shows you recommending me a romantic walking tour, a Cults World village tour. And very relevant stuff here that you can directly action with like live price and availabilities.
So do the influencers or the people who design these fantastic trips that others then copy and book, do they get a reward for creating that amazing itinerary?
Yeah, absolutely. So the model of this is ultimately we're trying to build the trusted itinerary network for travel, and ultimately is like the trusted experience network for the experience economy. And so the creators that we actually built our own micro creator network called the BootBesties. When we first launched it, December 15th, like last year, we were like, who has the deepest camera rolls? Let's launch a program to find these people. We were like, well, who's going to sign up for this? We're such a young new company. By Christmas, we already had hundreds of applications of people filling in detailed applications of why they want to be part of this, how much they want to share. The interesting power is like, it's not just for influencers, right? That the power of this is the friend to friend, like the highest level of trust is between you and your friends and family and what they're sharing with you. And if they had a good experience, and you'll copy them. And especially, we were seeing some of those users moms. They're like, wow, it's such a high decision friction. And if you pick with your family going with like 3 kids and you pick the wrong hotel with the wrong kids club setup, you're going to have a horrible time. And if you know that mom went there, you're just going to copy that and go. Mom, right? Like that's kind of that scenario.
Yeah.
So it's like
I agree.
First degree of what we're facilitating is ultimately a trust exchange of people easily now be able to share this actionable, bookable itinerary. That's also, you can use AI to personalize and remix the experience and personalize for yourself. And then there's the second level of like, beyond that, people also trust a creator who have like done all the research and went on to these places and sharing, and they put in effort to like make a really great recommendation experience, and you can copy from those people that you trust and the tastemakers in the world.
So, Nancy, how do you see the balance between perhaps a really popular itinerary that an influencer, a really well-known influencer, let's say, and people copying that, compared to perhaps the long tail of that unique experience, the quiet medieval cobbled streets? If somebody hyper famous influencer with millions of followers publishes a trip, it may be that there's then hordes of people heading down the same alleyway at the same time. What's your view on like that, striking the balance between popularity but also exposing the sort of, or providing access to that long tail of interesting, less well-known destinations?
I mean, absolutely. Ultimately, like when we talk to people, the authenticity of the users and experiences, and if you look at the data across the initial pool, and we are experiencing this explosive growth. We've been sustaining 50% plus week over week, and like we kind of hit our inflection point in the last 90 days, and there's tens of thousands of trips on the platform, and you just see
awesome
the spread of like, you would think that there's the branded hotels, the obvious, like the big major hotel chains, but like more than half of the trips actually people will share they're staying at like very unique, like little places and villas and Airbnbs and like kind of really interesting, like some up and coming locations like Albania, like Curacao. Like one of the most popular trips on the platform is from Curacao in the Caribbeans. And
interesting.
In the most popular trips are not like the most copied trips on the platform. We're trying to make this new behavior that you never have to plan a trip from scratch ever again, that you'll be copying a real person, right? That the most copied trips are not necessarily the biggest influencers. Like, we have some of these large influencers, including some British Love Island celebrities and people. And we went experiment ourselves with like, here's the Dua Lipa inspired like trips and things like that. But people actually, the ones that perform the best are the ones that are like, the flight attendant in Chicago with 3,000 followers. It's not really followers, just her own friends, and sharing a trip 8 days in Japan, jumping through Japan 8 days in Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and the people like, just because it's such a complicated trip to plan with multiple cities. People want to copy that. To the cases of like, here's the Amsterdam local, lady Leonie is her name, and she's like, well, Harry Styles is coming to Amsterdam, like, but I'm an Amsterdam local. Here's how I would do Amsterdam, and she's getting so much like saves and shares on Instagram and TikTok, and you just see the data of people coming through, downloading the app, searching for her name, and go immediately copy her trip.
What's your take on that, on the balance between hyper personalization and then something that's perhaps creepy or too much or not surprising in a good way?
Yeah, it's interesting where, for us, it's like the product, we're not asking everybody to give us their full camera roll access. We actually like thought deeply about this. And my engineering leaders and partner in the company, they came from cybersecurity background that sold the company to Cloudflare. So we think pretty deeply about this, and that it's optional for people to like give us your camera roll, and you can even just like pick a particular set of photos and just only upload those if you want to, and you don't actually have to do any of that to have a great experience on the platform, because you're going to come and be able to discover like tens of thousands of these like real trips from real people. You can search for destinations that you like, and then you'll find a trip that you want to copy, right? So to us, it's like people come in to be copiers. What's interesting to see is like as they experience this, or like when they experienced it, they copied a trip, they chatted with the AI, they personalized it, they booked it themselves, they went on the trip. And by the way, this whole camera roll thing also works like real time, so that if you give us access on the trip, we can tap into your real time locations and camera roll to like automatically, as you stumble onto new places that's not even on your camera roll, it gets documented. Yeah. It's like this memory. Ultimately, we want to like help people turn their travel memories into money. And so like people start doing this and they're experiencing it. And like one in 3 people that came in to just copy ended up like, well, I want to be able to share, because there's like a self-identity of like people's experiences, like the human experience is your self-identity, and people want to like have it shown somewhere that they can look at themselves. And we keep it really private, where you have all the levers to keep it only to yourself or to your friends, or share it directly with a link without publishing onto the platform. And we really respect that.
I see. I just wanted to, and I've got the app, and I chatted with the AI and did some customization. You look a little bit nervous now, but it's okay. It's fine. I'll tell you what it planned for me. I did a search. So what I ended up with was 2 days cycling around Lake Annecy's turquoise water, wandering medieval streets, and eating your weight in artisanal gelato. So it knows me really well already. This is great. This is the French Alps without the ski crowds, just cobblestones, lakeside beaches, and that perfect Savoyard dinner. So for those who don't know Savoyard, that's raclette or tartiflette, very hearty cheese and potatoes and hearty meals.
Mm-hmm.
A Savoyard dinner that you'll be thinking about months later.
Mm-hmm.
And steal this trip if you want a European break that's active without being exhausting. I mean, I thought that's super cool. Like it,
Mm-hmm.
I copied that from someone else who's done that.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of the itinerary, the hotel or the Airbnb was bookable, and all of the locations were I could just jump through the app and find it straight away.
Yeah.
And so if I completed that booking, the person I copied the trip from would get we
would do 50-50 share. So they would we generate affiliate commissions. Our platform integrates with all the different affiliates, and in the travel world, I think everyone in the audience knows is somewhere between like 5 to 30% of hotel commissions. And we really we're on a mission, and experiences are between like 10 to 20-30% in commissions, and we generate them. We automatically, every single experience, like we automatically generate the affiliate links, and we generate the commissions, and we track like which user copied from who, and we return dollars back to the original creators. Yeah.
Wow, it's a fascinating business model. I'm just wondering, like, how do you what do you see the travel industry doing with AI that perhaps maybe they're taking the wrong step, or what do you think that the travel industry is sort of perhaps a misunderstanding about AI that you have got right?
Yes. Thank you for asking that, because I came from the world of AI and think a lot about this. And obviously people are kind of the head like goes to I can use the Gemini or ChatGPT to like chat with it to create an itinerary. Our product have that path as well. Like you can like chat with it to create, and it's really interesting. Like now our agent is sitting on this like real trusted human experience graph to like pull in experiences like, I'll pull in like, I'm going to London. So I will like the agent will pull Alexa's experience, and my, really good friend, Layla, who's lived there for 15 years, a US expat, like her experience. I would trust that. And I would trust somebody on the platform. We have a creator, Axel, who lives in London, Swedish guy living in London for a long time. Like it'll put all that together into a trip that you like feel confident to make a decision on, versus like what we're seeing like at the beginning when we started doing this last year, and you just witness this, like people are like, okay, when we didn't have this correlation of the social trust, it's just like we're pulling the same thing as anybody else like on the internet or any other AI player, and you just like, oh wow, why did you do that? People click through the experience like, well, now I have to click through and understand why did this AI tell me to do this thing? And is it even legit? Where is the source of this? And, is this the best option and choice? Like, and so, that's really kind of the experience. So in some ways, like the realization of like, in this AI age, the human curation and the trust is actually even more important, and that that just trumps any kind of AI hallucination. And that's what's going to ultimately save people time to plan this, because on average, like people actually spend 30 to plan a friend, spend average 30 to 40 hours to plan each trip. And so,
Oh, wow.
well, what we are doing is, hey, now you can make a decision within like 30 minutes by copying this and remixing it, because you also just don't want to copy anybody's exact, like, because you have your own taste, your own budget, your own group dynamics, your own preferences, your own logistics, like, and so we can very quickly in minutes help you be able to customize it and make a decision knowing that these are real people's experiences from people you trust.
And so in terms of product direction, do you see yourself taking the business to integrate more of that technical stack? Is it at the moment when you have to book, it goes to booking.com and you follow a flow through there? Given AI tools for software development and vibe coding and all the rest of it, how do you, as a founder, fellow solopreneur, how do you sort of look at product and think about your future strategy in that context?
Yeah. And so I'm actually very lucky to have a really great team. And so we're a team of 10 in Seattle, and we sit in the middle. We're right next to the Google
Amazing.
here, and Microsoft headquarters, or the 150 buildings, and Amazon headquarters. And we're within 5 minutes to like all of those. And so we're lucky to have a very strong team from both kind of tech AI background, and also like, our design came from like the creation tool designer for TikTok and, Meta. And so with that, for us, it's like we ultimately, like, we're moving towards a agentic universal one cart booking. And so the power of
Okay.
what we're executing, and what we're partnering, we're starting to partner with a lot of the traditional experience providers like hotels, activities, and airline like those are all the partners that we can actually help directly serve. Where through the agentic one cart, we can execute. The power of this is you can book now a hotel from either Expedia or Bumble or Hilton or Hyatt or any Airbnb, and along with that, a Viator tour or a super unique like Turkish professor who dig the ruins and giving you a private tour that only have a Turkish website with a WhatsApp number to the restaurant, and all of that in one cart. Where in the back we're doing the agent to agent like handling to basically execute them, and helping the providers to continue to be the merchant of record through this experience. And that's kind of what we're executing towards. And it's a better experience for the consumers. And now you like copy this, personalize it, and you truly can moving towards like booking all in one cart, while you still can like knowing that, the comfort of like, you're still going to be able to call that particular hotel and the experience provider, the dive boat guy, and directly.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. So where, I mean, this sounds like a shift in the sort of power of distribution. Could you maybe like talk about that change towards social media and shopping on Instagram and that whole view of travel, and how you've seen that change in the last few years?
So absolutely, right? So every single consumer category have moved from search to social. If you think about like fashion,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing about like the Shop My and LTK, those are like the social platforms for like fashion and beauty, to like the TikTok shopping, Instagram shopping, and all that, right? Like 89% of
Well,
the Gen Zs actually, like, the travel discovery have already moved to social as well. 89% of the Gen Zs actually like first discover destination travel experiences on TikTok. Right? Um, but the whole like for travel, the whole transaction and booking layer is still very much like, basically a room listing service. at the moment. And it's broken in that way, right? That the people are like discovering and being inspired on social media. And that's like how I started, is like, oh yeah, every trip I have like hundreds of TikTok and Instagram screenshots on my phone. And I have no way to put this all together. And then I do all this research and price comparisons, and like I talk to my friend and I create an Excel sheet and all this stuff. And then like by the time I'm like ready to book this hotel, then I go to like, I search on Google and find the hotel and I book the thing, right? It's just such a broken experience that search
Yes.
is capturing the intent versus like where the intent is created. Like we're basically becoming that utility pipe that helps people kind of go through that in a really fun and efficient way.
I totally get it. So you're taking from that, that intent is created. You see a beautiful photo, you read an article, you see you're scrolling on TikTok or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're able to. What you've done is take from there, instead of the old school way of separating from where that intent is created and then going and doing a Google search.
Correct. And
So,
think of it from the hospitality like brands, like if you're a hotel owner perspective, like search ads, like you're losing to the big players that are spending tens of billions a year. From Expedia, Booking each spends like that much money on search ads, and you're losing on your own hotel keywords to the major players, and you turn around and have to pay back, 15, 25% of the hotel like booking commissions, like back to the travel platforms. Instead, like your people are being inspired by your own social accounts and your hotel guests who are like organically sharing on social media or just directly with their friends. And now they can just click this like book with me link, and they can see your entire trip. They can go down this path to customize it themselves, and then they can like book, and you would be able to get a direct booking from there. And so that's kind of the revolution. And then, for hotel owners, right? Like we help you be able to have way better margin. And you will capture people like from the beginning of that, collapsing that inspiration of booking journey. And that's all your guests staying at your hotel ended up becoming your best salespeople, because they end up like taking their camera roll and turning into a bookable experience that their friends and family can then copy and bring business to you. And our AI agent will help guide people to drive like higher on property spend on like spas and golf and dining and all of that as well.
So do you see those bookings or those itineraries becoming a series of direct bookings? I'm interested in your view on the sort of travel market fragmentation. There's lots of middle people and companies and reselling and distribution. Many companies sort of from one end to the other. So how do you see the future in terms of, will it go direct, or how will that play out?
Yeah, I mean, you see the bigger trends of like companies, the Google have an AI mode now that they integrate with the directs. Like people are already expecting, right? Like as the agent becomes more and more powerful, to be able to like ask an agent to execute this versus like me punching in 47 different browser tabs on punching in my credit card numbers like 8 different times on different things, and it all ended up in different places. Right? Like that's the kind of the current experience today. And like that whole agent's like execution utility is like it's coming, and it's like, it's not just coming, it's happening right now. So that's kind of, but ultimately I think it's like, how do we, the opportunity like that I'm excited about is like the bigger experience economy, where 80% of the experience providers are still not online. Like 20 like the activity market only actually captures about 20% of the experience bookings. Like this is your like the carpet shop owner in Morocco, the surf guy on the beach, the boat guy by the marina, and right, like the Turkish professor. Like these people, and we're talking to some of these countries like India, like they're like, well, our people, we have tens of millions of these tourists, like kind of experience little like small medium business like providers, but they can't afford to be on the major platforms that charges them 20-30%. But we would
Okay.
also want to be able to participate in this new social commerce that everybody knows that even the smallest like little carpet shop owner knows that they want to get some influencer to create something for them on TikTok so they can blow up, and that they don't have a way
Yeah.
to do that or facilitate that in an easy way, and that we're making that a solution for them. Right.
So it's more like a constellation of
Mm,
peer-to-peer direct.
correct.
I suppose that's part of the vision eventually.
Yes.
I want to go back to a question that I tried to ask at the beginning, but I didn't articulate it very well.
Mm.
Just thinking back to your days at Microsoft and Meta, what is it from that enterprise world that you've brought into your new startup? Now you're working and selling into a consumer market.
The experience really reminds me of my time at like Microsoft. Like I used to run parts of the global partnerships ecosystem for the perception, like AI services and technology and augmented reality technology to apply to these enterprises. And my experience at Bright AI, where we partner with the largest like power grid company, water pipe company, natural gas compression company, ultimately of like kind of that view of like, well, your business and how you manage your EBITDA and how you want more top line sales, how you want to acquire customers cheaper and more efficient,
Yeah.
and all those like business levers. And it's very much the same conversations that we have there, and that this and that ultimately kind of what we are creating is a really innovative like new way to bring them next generation customers like under 35 years old, or who doesn't even know about a lot of these like traditional brands.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to hear you talk about those business levers and how you brought that from the enterprise world into a startup. I do want to stay just for a second on the enterprise side, but I want to ask you about corporate travel. I think some of the most painful and excruciating user experience that I've had is trying to use big internal like corporate travel platform. Have you thought about venturing into the corporate travel side where there's a particular itinerary for an event that one member of the team finds awesome? Have you thought about corporate travel?
So we gotta, for startup, it's like, distractions kills the momentum. And so for us, it's like
Yeah.
we want to be super, like, because the leisure travel is 10 billion trips a year, compared to corporate travel I think is a billion. And so there's the trend of like leisure, but obviously I travel a lot for my business, and that I use Boop to like capture my experience. And when I, on a business trip, I still want to go to an interesting restaurant or a bar, and right, like
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh, of course. Yeah.
and so and you want to capture that as still interesting to my friends and family and my colleagues, right? So there's that aspect of it. But it's a very different game, like doing that, and it's like a lot of the tech you have to build is like invoicing and right, like the reimbursements and corporate
Yeah.
compliance and all that stuff. That
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we're really just focused on like next generation, like Gen Z, like our initial core audience. It's like we went for the Gen Z. The Gen Z audience, the affluent and millennial women, the wealthy LGBTQ, and those are the groups that have the deepest camera roll, spends the most time researching, that plans the trip for everyone, that pulls everybody in. And it's really interesting to see that 50% of our the booker, like the people copy and ended up in active booking process, that they on average naturally share 6 times. Like you can see in the data, and because there's this natural group
Wow.
formation. We haven't even started building any of the collaborative, like bring your friends, like kind of coordination experiences. But you just see like, because people are like create this and they so much coordination work, but now it's like they just share this into their WhatsApp group with the friends. Like, oh, what do you all think? This is the experience. Do you have any ideas? Like anything you don't want to do? Okay, here's the plan. So before anybody book a flight, everyone's super clear on what this trip is about.
And so do you foresee pushing that to TikTok and Instagram as well?
Yeah, we actually have a pretty big. So we have currently a network of hundreds of micro creators on TikTok and Instagram, and they together reach over 6 million. This is really early days, but they are together already reaching 6 million people on TikTok and Instagram. And but if you think of it, it's like there's a billion pieces of travel content on TikTok and Instagram, and every single piece of that content today have a dead end. And so, what's the call to action for each of those pieces of content? Screenshot, screenshot, screenshot. Go find it on Google Maps,
Yeah.
and then
Google search, or
right?
look at the comments. Where is this? Try and figure it out.
Yeah. So
10 steps to then work on that. Right.
exactly, right? So now we give them a new call to action, like, hey, steal my trip. And by the way, out of the 1 billion pieces of content, about 250 million pieces of those content are directly already like, steal my itinerary, copy my trip. Like, it's already kind of that type of content. So that then people now like click through and there's an action they can take from there.
That's fantastic. Is there anything you can? How's business going? Are there any numbers or things you can share about how things have been going since that January or January launch?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so we entered, we're 90 days ago we entered public beta. We ripped out our invite code so that anybody on the can be able to download the app, and they can click through the link to discover the trips and take actions. And it has really kind of hit, like, for me, it's like kind of the consumer like network effect. I've really started going with people actively sharing with friends as they book, and you can see the people kind of importing trips. And we actually have this feature where, like, what I just shown you on importing from Camera, we actually also automatically generate a trip recap video that you one click and share to Instagram and TikTok, and it's generating millions of monthly social impressions, like, organically, that for free, that we're not paying, just because in human nature, people likes to share their experiences in travel, and they're proud to share that, and they want their friends to be able to take advantage of this. And that's the data we're seeing. And we're really kind of starting to hit that like explosive growth velocity. Like every 2 weeks, we're kind of doubling our users, and it's really kind of fascinating to see.
That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, congratulations on the success so far. I mean, that's absolutely brilliant to hear. Are there any other things you talked about? The data and some really interesting numbers there. Are there other, as people have started to use the platform and that growth has started to continue, and you talked about a network effect, are there patterns in the data that have emerged that have really surprised you?
Absolutely. What's interesting in the data is that people think about travel being like I go on travel for like once or twice a year on a vacation kind of thing. Maybe in Europe it's a little better. In America, it's like people are still very much workaholics. And but in our data, what is shown is that 50% of the trips are less than 4 days. And so people
Okay,
are taking,
interesting.
and at least in the next gen traveler, audience, the initial audience that we're targeting, people are taking a lot of weekend trips and local outings and mini experiences, and that's way more frequent because you just see that 80% of people that copy one trip, they copy a second one. They plan one, they're going on that one, and they're already like planning and researching and coordinating the next one. So that to me is like really interesting signal on kind of more frequent experiences. That's kind of, I think, is going to probably shape a different, like, people think about like staycations, and those are all areas that's interesting.
Okay, I mean it's absolutely awesome. How can people sort of get in touch with you, or are you exhibiting at events coming up? How can people reach out to you to learn more about the business?
Absolutely. I mean, we operate on bootwithme.com and boot with me on Instagram and TikTok, and We have a program called the BootBesties that anybody can apply, and we're looking for well-traveled travelers and creators to join our mission. And you can DM us on Boop with Me as well. That we want to hear like it's any. We have a lot of kind of organic like people there. Oh, I have a new idea on like a feature I want to see in the platform, and we always take that and take action really quickly and iterate from there. So, and then I think from the partnership side of like big kind of like travel brands and events, like where it's a huge trend to like activate through like people travel for events, and we're seeing a lot of uptick of like, oh, people going to the Harry Styles concerts, like like kind of the travel through concerts, travel through like FIFA and F1 and like football and Europe and soccer, right? I mean, you guys call it football and
football.
yes,
Yeah.
and I lived in Munich, and I know how like how passionate the fans are, and people travel for the teams, and we're big like kind of NFL American football fans, and for Seahawks in Seattle, and we travel for games, and so those are all like if in the events space, like you're probably not earning or monetizing any of these audience like traveling when you could be monetizing between 5 to 10% of commissions by putting out like bookable itineraries that your audience, the event goers are copying, and direct like hotel brands and who wants to participate in the Agentic Universal One Card.
What about sports teams? On a couple of previous episodes, I've been talking to some of the white label tech providers who work with some brands to help them with their online shopping experience. But what you mentioned, Seattle Seahawks, is that right?
Yeah.
So what's your view on brands then? So separate to a person, influencer who goes on trips and takes the photos and publishes and shares. How do you think, where's that opportunity? Can we talk about how brands might make use of Boop for particular sporting events?
Yeah, absolutely. For brands, like think about like we're moving to a world where like all the consumer brands, like anything you're selling, you're not selling just the product, you're selling the lifestyle. And right, like from fashion to like
the whole experience,
like right, you're like even the beer Heineken, right? Like you're not selling like drinking this beer, you're selling like, oh, what a great time you can have, like watching football with your friends in London, like and that experience. And so I think what like in every brand like is curate, like the sports brand are curating a different experience and have a different point of view than like a fashion brand or a family brand, and like and so or a musician, right? Like a very different audience on like what the interest, like travel to me it's really fascinating. It's like 100 different niche communities in markets like that. There's like a point of view that the brands can have, establishing that as what is the life of like Heineken? What is the life of a perfume brand? Like, and there are, you see people like all the different brands are deploying kind of these like the branded beach clubs, like in like famous destinations. Yep. And people want to have that. And right now, like it's only being seen, but now you can give your audience a way to truly be able to copy and experience it whenever they can do it. And through this process, you can actually like generate commission dollars from this. And the unit economics, right? Is that think about it like even at the conservative range of like a $4,000 average order value of a trip, like 10-15% of that's like $400 to $600. Let's just say like $500. That's your brands and the creators, and you could be like basically where you could be generating like $200-$300 on a booking. And for the audience of the scale of the brand, and for larger influencers like that, if 200 times 10,000 bookings, that's significant, right? That's $2 million on like one bookable experience that consistently earns passive income. And we talk about this like Shopify for travel. It's like anyone can spin up a travel storefront, a brand, a user in minutes.
Yeah.
and now you can earn like pure passive income on top of that. It's like an annuity on your camera roll.
Well, my mind is just buzzing with ideas. So, I mean, Oktoberfest in Germany, particular venues creating their own itineraries, that long tail of experience, the Turkish professor, the guy with the boat, potentially they can publish itineraries that bring people to them.
Correct.
And they earn
yes, correct.
The passive income from that.
Yes.
Okay. And sports teams, any sport. Because at the moment, there are packages, but it's all just the big. I guess it's the big clubs, it's the really huge businesses, and I think what you've explained to me is that this is a way that those micro businesses can actually reach out.
It's not the brand creating it. It's like, imagine like a sports club running a challenge to have their 100 or 1,000 of their fans like creating their, like importing their past experience they have, like going to that sports game and the whole sports weekend around it, like the 72 hours.
Exactly.
And that whole experience authentically from like thousands of their fans, and the fans are passionate. Like, I know about Seahawks. Like, if we asked to do this and we get a free ticket for the next game, like we would absolutely be doing this. And all of that becomes a explosion of like this bookable experience, like library surrounding whatever the experience that you're providing to people.
A pub crawl followed by a sports game.
Yeah,
I think that sounds like.
I stay at a bougie city hotel with a rooftop pool, going to the after party.
That sounds fantastic. It's so interesting. The different business model, and then I love the way you described that, capturing the intent. So adding a call to action when the intent has been created from that social side through to booking. Well, that's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on to the podcast. What should I have asked you that I didn't ask you?
That's a really interesting question. Probably, I think the personal side of how I got here, and the kind of I think the personal journey and the people surrounding me and all of the we think of it like we're a team of early team of 10 and grow like we actually have like hundreds of people. How I think about it, actually creating with us. We have a WhatsApp group with like 100 of these passionate like BootBesties, and they're testing the product and telling us, "Oh, you have a bug," before you ship it to the app store, and giving us ideas and advocating for us and dropping us into like the 300 moms groups, the 500 like flight attendants group, the Deloitte accounting group, and the women lawyers group that all care about this. And I think that's kind of the people ultimately that along the way that help create this new ecosystem to, I think it's a revolution that we are, the mission of like shifting billions of dollars back to the everyday people and creating this travel taste economy, and maybe kind of the taste and the travel DNA aspect of this, that even if you the 50,000 people going to the sports stadium, every single one have a completely different experience and a different taste. That we're able to kind of help them have that experience, share with people, then match them with people with the same taste, and have them like have a relationship from now they're on with each other. And So
it sounds like you have built a community around your startup, and you mentioned just before we started recording that you are a solopreneur. Is there a sort of message or advice that you would give to other people looking to jump out of the corporate life and build a startup?
I think it's find your people. and I think it's like taking the leap. It's probably the most scariest step. And it's like, I think for people in corporate, there's always this comfort of, oh yeah, I have this like stable like structure and salary, and it's like the scariest step. No, I need to be ready. I need, like, when am I gonna get enough experience or money or like whatever to be ready for it? Versus like, I think the biggest learning is like kind of the taking the leap, and people kind of, I don't have everything figured out at the beginning when I had the idea, but then I ended up meeting the Marriott president, Stephanie Lamarche, and she was the first believer. And she was like, well, you should like, this doesn't exist, and it needs it. Somebody needed to capture and share a trip easily with friends. And to then the TripAdvisor co-founder, to along the way meeting the former Expedia CMO, the Carl Sparks, and to the like, just kind of along the way, like the path will be formed, and the right people kind of will show up to make this exciting thing that everybody win from.
That's such a fantastic answer. Listen, Nancy, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, congratulations on the business so far. It's fantastic, and I wish you every future success. And I'll certainly become a user and start publishing my trips. Hopefully people will start copying them and stealing my itineraries, and I'll get some passive income.
Absolutely. And we're launching the creator payouts features like in the second half of the year. And like, I would love for you to be part of the early preview of that, and give us feedback.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Nancy. It's been fantastic.
Awesome. Great conversation. Thank you so much, Alexis.